Hi everyone, this is Eagle News. I'm Ralph Cornell in Washington. It's Saturday once again, May 20, 2023, here in the nation's capital. The week's recap begins with raging wildfires in the Canadian province of Alberta. As the province braces for a scorching hot holiday weekend, conservation officials hope people will heed the warning to be careful outdoors. Eagle News correspondent Thomas At A Glance tells us that figures released by the government indicate nearly half of the wildfires burning in the province have been sparked by human activity.
Don't be responsible for starting a new wildfire.
That's Christine Tucker from Alberta Wildfires, and she has this advice for people this holiday weekend.
Please follow the local rules and restrictions in place and help prevent any wildfires from starting.
Since the start of the year, there have been 487 wildfires in Alberta. Human activity is believed to be the cause of 47% of them, but Tucker says don't jump to conclusions about the circumstances.
Now, that does not mean wildfires that are deliberately set. That means any human activity that can lead to a wildfire, sometimes unintentionally.
Historically, the May holiday weekend has been the worst for human-caused fires. Because of the risk, the government has closed at least a dozen parks and recreation areas. More may be shut down if the situation worsens. The next few days are going to be scorchers, with temperatures in the high 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. And that means for many, who regard this weekend as the beginning of the summer camping season, their plans for outdoor activities may go up in smoke. Thomas At A Glance, Eagle News, Edmonton, Canada. We live in extraordinary times.
The increase in air travel is good for the airlines. For passengers, however, the surge in lost baggage is not. Marcel Feria has the report.
Things are looking up for the air travel industry. Many pandemic restrictions have ended. Borders have reopened. As a result, passengers have returned to the skies. However, a recent study shows one thing that has suffered is the handling of passengers' baggage. The report by SITA, an IT provider for the air transport industry, says worldwide 7.6 bags per 1,000 passengers were mishandled in 2022. That's a 74.7% increase from the previous year. In actual pieces of baggage, that equates to 26 million bags mishandled in 2022 compared to 9.9 million in 2021. There was also a 42% increase in bags delayed at transfer. According to the report, the surge follows more than a decade of reduction in the rate of mishandled luggage. The study also says in addition to the resumption of international travel, the shortage of skilled staff contributed to the drastic increase in mishandled baggage. Marcel Feria, Washington, D.C., Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
In other news, attention motorists. It's almost Memorial Day and the Click It or Ticket campaign kicks off. Molly Sambulan reports.
Memorial Day holiday is just around the corner. Along with the celebrations like in many states across the country, Pennsylvania will see more law enforcement officers on the road as part of the Click It or Ticket initiative. The initiative that runs from May 22 to June 4 reminds drivers and passengers about the importance of buckling up. It reminds about the legal consequences, which include fines for not wearing a seatbelt. With support from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the state police and municipal police departments across Pennsylvania send out a zero-tolerance message to unbuckled motorists through enforcement and public awareness activities. Motorists are reminded to buckle up. Here in the state, drivers and passengers 18 years and older are required to wear a seatbelt when behind the wheel or in the front passenger seat. If you are a driver 18 or older and police pull you over for another violation, you'll receive a second ticket if you or your front seat passengers aren't wearing seatbelts. Pennsylvania's primary seatbelt law requires drivers and passengers under 18 years of age to buckle up anywhere in the vehicle. Additionally, drivers under 18 may not operate a vehicle where the number of passengers exceed the number of available seatbelts. During Click It or Ticket, PSP troopers certified as child passenger safety technicians offer car seat fittings and inspections at various locations throughout the state. Data suggests wearing a seatbelt can increase chances of surviving a crash by up to 60%. Myla Simbulan, Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Several stories from Thomas Likeness today, from a new hunting trophy law in South Africa to a Nigerian chef setting a new world record. These and more at Correspondent at Large.
And now news and commentary from around the globe. Taxidermists in South Africa upset with a new law in the United Kingdom. It bans the import of hunting trophies. Trophy hunting has long been controversial. You know, hunters sometimes pay thousands of dollars for the right to kill big game animals. Animals like elephants, lions, and so on. They have the carcasses stuffed and mounted, then they display them back home. For people like 45-year-old Elias Pedsasai, who works at a taxidermy firm, the ban is going to hurt.
If they're going to ban this job, it's going to cost a lot to me, because I'm going to not manage to feed my family, everything. Because for me, I think all of us here working here as the workers, we get to survive from these things.
But he's not getting any sympathy from SPCA spokeswoman Keshfi Nair.
I think in terms of ethics and morals, to hunt an animal only to be mounted on your wall, I think it's a little bit questionable and a little bit unethical.
Defenders of big game hunting say they're simply culling animals to curb overpopulation, but critics say they're endangering the survival of some species. Man's inhumanity to man has increased, according to a new report from Amnesty International. The agency says executions increased by 53% in the past 12 months. Death penalty expert Sierra Sangiorgio says the number of executions last year is the highest figure recorded since 2017. And she points the finger at Iran and Saudi Arabia.
We saw an increase in the number of executions in Iran of 83% compared to 2021. And in Saudi Arabia, the total number of executions that we recorded tripled compared to the previous year. We also had, for example, a chilling example of the senseless use of the death penalty when we saw 81 people being executed in one day in Saudi Arabia.
On a positive note, she says, last year, 6 countries abolished the death penalty. There's a new name in the Guinness Book of Records, Hilda Bassi. She's a chef in Nigeria, and she set a new record for the longest cooking marathon by an individual. Hilda put on her apron on May the 11th, and until May 15th, she prepared more than 200 meals, served to about 4,000 people. She did this non-stop. She cooked continuously for 100 hours and 40 minutes. That's more than 13 hours longer than the previous record holder. The dishes she prepared were all Nigerian food, and she hopes that Nigerian recipes will become better known worldwide.
One of my biggest goals is I want Nigerian recipes to be propagated across the world. You know, I want it to be a normal thing to make egusi soup in an American home. I want you to be able to walk into any random supermarket and find Nigerian ingredients.
The 27-year-old chef has big dreams. She says she wants to expand her restaurant, even franchise it to other parts of the world. I gotta wonder, though, what she's making for dinner tonight. I'll be back in 7 days, and in the meantime, I wish you all peace, joy, and happiness in the ensuing week. Thomas I. Likeness, Correspondent at Large, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
The World Health Organization announces 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards for outstanding contributions to advancing global health. The recipients are 2 distinguished scientists and public health leaders who were closely involved in the discovery of Ebola virus disease. Here's David Oria on Health is Wealth.
Jean-Jacques Muyembe Tamfum and Peter Piot will be receiving the WHO Director General's Global Leaders Awards for their outstanding contributions to advancing global health. Professor Muyembe Tamfum from the Democratic Republic of the Congo is being recognized for his innovation, leadership, and groundbreaking contributions to the management and treatment of diseases such as Ebola virus disease. Professor Piat from Belgium is being recognized for his extraordinary leadership in the response to the HIV/AIDS epidemic and other significant global health challenges. WHO Chief Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says these outstanding individuals embody lifelong dedication, relentless advocacy, a commitment to equity, and selfless service of humanity and people's health. The ceremony of the awards will be during the high-level opening session of the 76th World Health Assembly being held on Sunday in Geneva. David Oria, Washington, D.C., Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
The Biden-Harris administration announces nearly $11 billion to help bring affordable, reliable, clean energy to rural communities across America. Bruce Balmeo on Down to Earth.
$11 billion in grants and loans are made available to assist energy and utility providers advance clean energy in their communities. Funding is available through two programs under the Inflation Reduction Act. These are the Empowering Rural America or New Era program and the Powering Affordable Clean Energy or PACE program. The Agriculture Department will be opening a letter of interest process for the New Era program, which makes $9.7 billion available to eligible rural electric cooperatives. This to deploy renewable energy systems, zero emission, and carbon capture systems. The same goes with the PACE program, which makes $1 billion available in partially forgivable loans to renewable energy developers and electric service providers. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack says these investments support thousands of new jobs and help lower energy costs in the future. He says it will also combat climate change and significantly reduce air and water pollution that put children's health at risk. The funding makes the nation's largest ever investment in combating the climate crisis. Bruce Balmeo, Washington, D.C., Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
An all-girls team from North Hills, California meet the other enthusiasts from across the globe to compete at this year's VEX Robotics Championship. Nanita Manawis tells us more on Learning Curve.
At the VEX Robotics World Championship, young people from all across the country get to show off their technical and creative talents. The purpose of this event is to bring students from around the world into one large setting, to compete and to learn from one another while having fun and making new friends.
Here in Dallas, Texas, we have 3,200 teams competing. These teams come from over 50 countries and all 50 US states. So the reason that they're here is because they've qualified for the VEX Robotics World Championship through local events, regional events, state events, and even national competitions. They're as young as 10 years old all the way through university. And we have in our program over 28,000 teams from over 70 countries.
Eileen Cushow and her family drove more than 20 hours from California to Texas to support this.
And I'm here as a parent mom. My daughter's name is Sarah Cushow, and she is one of the autonomous drivers for the team.
Her 10-year-old daughter, Sarah Cushow, a fourth grader from Vintage Magnet Elementary School, is one of the competitors.
My role in this project is a coder. As a coder, I code the robot autonomously. I code the robot left and right and back and forth.
The group prepared a year-long to get this far at Worlds. We started around August of 2022. Just being here is really a great opportunity for them to meet other teams, learn from other teams, and at the same time encourage them.
And we really just want them to take it all in and experience working with kids from all over the world, which is something we don't get to do every day. So I'm hoping that they really enjoy collaborating with teams from across the world.
Win or lose, we want our team to know that nothing is impossible. The opportunities are so open for everybody nowadays, especially our team is an all-girls team.
Robotics is just not for boys, It's for everyone, especially for girls who love to do their passion.
Our hope is that these students come together and they talk to other students using the language of robotics. And that language is actually working together, collaborating, problem solving with students from different states and different countries.
I feel excited being able to come here to Dallas and getting to experience the same thing my brother has experienced last year.
Vintage Team E. Vintage, come on up and get your trophy.
In Dallas, Texas, Nanita Manawis for Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Business-minded individuals now have additional help as Papua New Guinea launches its national trade portal. Eko Ortaleza Quinola on Oceania at a Glance.
The Department of International Trade and Investment of Papua New Guinea launches its national trade portal. Guest of honor and Speaker Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso launches 2 books and a website called the Trade Portal. Here, one will find the Small Medium Enterprise or SME Export Guides and the Papua New Guinea Investment Guide. This is produced by the National Trade Office.
Small and medium enterprises is the future of Papua New Guinea. They are the means to realize all our immediate, medium and long-term goals. We must look to turn our backs on aid and loans. We must look forward to being economically independent. And that is a vision. That is a vision of the government. And that is the vision of our Pangu party when we first started this journey. These are weights that have kept us dependent and underdeveloped. And it is not just us as government. It is every individual and every minister's responsibility to advance our country's vision. Yes, it is hard. Yes, there are many naysayers. But if we do not try, we cannot succeed.
Richard Maru of the International Trade and Investment Office campaigns on focusing on investors in agriculture, fisheries, and tourism. This to double the size of a strong and progressive economy. Maru says that developing green industries in Papua New Guinea is possible and will flourish tremendously. Eko Hortaleza Quinola, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
Here in the US, opinions on how to solve gun violence vary, with individuals and groups presenting their perspectives on how to best approach this surging epidemic. In Los Angeles, California, Valerie Gonzalez on this week's What Do You Think?
Gun violence is an increasing issue in the United States that has elicited varying and debatable solutions from different sides. The growing number of fatalities and injuries each year involving firearms has caused some to live in a constant state of speculation as to when the next shooting incident will occur. We ask residents their opinions on what they think can be done to reduce gun violence.
I think the stricter gun laws and just more detailed screening for people who are going to own a firearm.
The way to reduce gun violence is to have a strict law that only cops and firefighters should have guns only. Anyone else should not have them.
Having more protocol as far as for getting more information on who we give the guns to, doing a full background check, being very extensive.
I think the single thing that we can do that would be most effective to reduce gun violence is to properly address the mental health crisis in the United States.
Gun violence continues to be a complex and highly politicized issue across the country. And while the conversation about this crisis continues to develop, a watchful nation is carefully scrutinizing the potential solutions that all parties are bringing to the table. Valerie Gonzalez, Los Angeles, California, Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
The 6269 Night Market is known for holding its Southern California events at mega-sized venues, but in one coastal community, the night market opens at a much smaller location for leisurely inclined foodies. In Santa Monica, California, Alan and Eva with the report.
The 626 Night Market is a popular Asian-inspired food and entertainment event that takes place throughout California and Las Vegas. The Santa Monica venue is a condensed and more compact version of the 626 in Arcadia.
But what this mini night market lacks in size is more than made up for with convenience. And while the location might be smaller, the variety of food and vendors is by no means lacking.
It's kind of nice that something just showed up in Santa Monica. You normally do the normal, like the pier, the boardwalk. You walk around there, and then so now here with the 626 here, it's like, just come here, get some food, you'll be good. What I tried was the yakitori, and that was actually really, really good. The old grandpa was making sure everything was the temperature. I loved it. I got a picture of him and everything.
It seems really calm, and everyone's just casually walking around, very friendly. We're talking to people.
It'd be easy to hit every spot here, whereas at the OC, a lot of times you hit one or two, and that's about it, and there are a lot of places you miss. I got a horchata smoothie from Smoothies, and it's delicious.
And I got a crepe from Queen Crepe. It's the Biscoff, and I've never tasted it, but it looks really good.
We offer a variety of flavors that people like. So a lot of people like the barbecue and sour cream because it's something they're familiar with, like chips that they like, but then in a different form and more fulfilling. The 626 staff, they do pick the best among the booths. So you do have a smaller selection, but you have an easier time picking what you like.
We just like coming here because we have built like, you know, the fan base, like the customer base in a way. So definitely the locals do enjoy it out here. It really warms my heart to know that people love our food and they will actually come back. You know, they enjoy the sauce a lot, which we take pride in since, you know, it's like homemade, you know, like, you know, we make it ourselves.
We sell lobster garlic noodles. It's the #1 dish we have. We also have other grilled oyster, fish balls. The perks of going to a mini is free entry. It's not as crowded. And if you like the more intimate events, place to go to take your family, I think the minis is a good option.
Ultimately, whether the 626 Night Market Mini Santa Monica is better than its more robust counterparts depends on personal preferences.
If you're looking for a smaller, more intimate setting, which still has a diverse selection of food and entertainment options, then a mini night market might be worth trying out.
Eva and Allen, Santa Monica, California, Eagle News, we live at extraordinary times.
As always, before we let you go, here's our photo of the week. Look at this beautiful photo of a horse-drawn cart taken from across the tulip field at Holland Ridge Farms in New Jersey. Lovely. Thank you, Jessica Bautista, for this shot. Thank you all for joining us again. If there are any stories or topics you want us to share with you, just comment below. View, like, share our other shows. City Limits with Alan Basaliahe. Connected with Dr. David. Take a seat and join us with Anna Kui. Plate Date with Mike Hudson and Friends. Plus, Journey, Stories of Filipinos Abroad with Kathleen Cruz. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Eagle News Live. I'm Ralph Cornell. We live in extraordinary times. Stay happy and healthy.